The Lakers are perhaps the most half full or half empty team in the entire league, depending on how you want to view them, because on the season they're just 41 and 39. But since the trade deadline, they are 16 and 8 and have the fourth best record in that span. Perhaps even more impressive than that is the fact that they've had LeBron healthy for just 9 of those games, in which they're 7 and 2 in those games. And they also have the second best defensive rating since the trade deadline, which is a little bit noisy because it's a segment stat of a part of the season. So it is very, very noisy, but they do have the components of an elite defensive team because LeBron gets a lot of flack for not trying on defense anymore, but he's still a solid defender that can switch on any position. And the real centerpieces of their defense are Anthony Davis, who is Defensive Player of the Year caliber player, and Jared Vanderbilt, who is perhaps not that level, but he's also not that far off either because he can erase just about any position. We have a nice supporting cast of defenders as well because Austin Reeves is a really nice perimeter defender, and Troy Brown Jr. can also do a lot of work as another switchable guy. So they have some nice pieces in play. Hachimura is going to play a lot for them as well, and he's very sturdy. He can guard, I would say, 3 through 5 very nicely. He can also do a little bit more than that, but I would say he's primarily guarding those positions, and he's just so strong that he doesn't really give up any position, which is nice because you can do some versatile things with him where maybe he's guarding a center and Anthony Davis can play off ball, which is, I think, ideal for Davis because he's great on ball as well. But as a help side defender, he is just exceptional and one of the best of all time, honestly. As you can see, they're more than just a defensive team, though, because for the most part, they're in elite company for their star duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, as Doncic and Irving are the only duo that's comfortably ahead of them as far as points go, and I would say that's mitigated a fair bit by the fact that the Mavericks just have those two as their offense, and they don't have much of a defense at this point either. Whereas the Lakers' identity is going to primarily be their defense, and then you also have an elite 1-2 punch. And in addition to that, D'Angelo Russell is not a bad third option by any stretch because though he's not physically gifted, he is an elite shooter, and that really matters a lot in today's day and age, as we all know. So they're not too poorly set up on the offensive side. And as you can see, to be right behind Durant and Booker as far as scoring goes, that should tell you just about all you need to know because they're right up there with Tatum and Brown as well. And I would say most people would agree that either of those are the top duo in the NBA, and the Lakers are right there. So it's a team structure that is pretty ideal. You have LeBron, who can still be a number one, and then you have Davis, who in the right matchup could be actually their number one, as there's not a lot of elite defensive centers that can just hold their own against Davis. So he can certainly abuse most players come postseason time. Despite their poor overall record, the Lakers have the fifth best odds in the West to win the finals, and I think that sounds about right because so much of the playoffs is just having the best player in the series. And though LeBron has not been a certified top five player like he has in years past, I'm not ready to write him off from being that come the playoffs. And at the very least, the duo of him and Davis is going to match up favorably to most duos in the entire league. So they stand a real fighting chance in a variety of ways because they should be able to score with the best of them, and they're also going to defend about as well as anybody in the league. So I really like their prospects to be a sneaky team come playoffs time where most casual fans might think that they don't stand a chance just because they're going to be a low seed that traditionally doesn't do well in the playoffs, but there are certainly an exception to that rule as they have dealt with injuries for much of the season and have just gelled together their current team as they've made many moves that have legitimately improved them. Thank you for watching to the end, and be sure to subscribe for more content on the NBA and NFL every week.